In the previous chapter, Eod battles the demon, while Theo enters Cassandra's memories and confronts the terrifying outer god. After restoring the ancient sword technique, Theo unleashes his power, leaving the bishop priest shocked as the final battle begins. Hearing this, the bishop priest was completely shocked and demanded to know who Theo really was and how he could wield the forgotten monarch's sword. Theo attacked him with full force, angrily declaring that he had seen it with his own eyes and mastered its technique. He had learned to wield the sword so he could cut down outer gods like him and wipe them all from existence. The bishop priest was left utterly stunned by Theo's words. Theo then unleashed a full-powered attack against the outer god, completely destroying him. The impact created an overwhelming surge of energy that engulfed the entire area. As the smoke slowly cleared, the bishop priest was revealed lying on the ground, while the surrounding land had been completely destroyed. Theo stood there, breathing heavily, before finally kneeling down. He realized that the mana consumption of the attack was truly insane. This made him wonder if the forgotten monarch had really swung the same sword around as casually as if it were nothing. The bishop priest struggled to stand up, severely injured from Theo's attack. He confirmed that Theo's sword was definitely the exact same sword wielded by that man. He then concluded that this must be the limit of a weak human vessel. Even so, he admitted that it was impressive for a mere human to reduce an avatar, even an incomplete one, to such a state with a single blow. Although he praised Theo for that achievement, he warned him not to become too arrogant. According to him, Theo's fate had merely been postponed until the day the unnamed monarch descended. He then declared that next time, he would achieve a perfect manifestation and, before he could finish, Theo smirked and stood up. Raising his sword, Theo told him that he talked too much. He mocked the bishop priest, saying that perhaps he needed that kind of so-called moral victory just to maintain his sanity. Theo then made it clear that the next time they met, he would cut through outer gods like him, and even the unnamed monarch himself. Enraged by Theo's insult, the bishop priest stretched his arm like elastic and launched it toward Theo's face. He angrily declared that a mere human dared to insult him. But suddenly, the bishop priest's entire body began to melt away. Realizing that his time was already up, he called Theo a lucky bastard. He then accepted that he would have to save the pleasure of crushing Theo for their next encounter. Rei was shocked when she noticed that the ominous energy filling the mausoleum had completely disappeared. Meanwhile, Theo picked up Cassandra and began carrying her away, remarking that the entire place had been completely wiped out. Just then, Theo heard Rei's voice. Rei sat down on the ground, completely exhausted, and said that she felt like her entire body was about to shatter. Theo reached out his hand toward her to help her up. Rei smiled and remarked that Theo had certainly started carrying a lot more sin since the last time she had seen him. She then teased him about whether he was going to collapse while trying to help her stand. Theo smiled and confidently declared that he planned to carry the weight of all Ragnar on his shoulders. Because of that, he refused to complain about carrying a little weight like this. Rei sighed and called Theo bold as always. She then admitted that it seemed she had gained a very threatening rival. Suddenly, they noticed that the entire area around them had begun to collapse. Rei realized that it was only natural for the place to collapse after such a frantic battle. Theo immediately urged everyone to get out of there as quickly as possible. At that moment, Rei called out to the Grim Reaper squad. Her soldiers immediately responded, confirming that they had arrived and were ready for Lady Rei. Rei knew that everyone in her squad was already badly injured, but she still asked them to help Theo carry some of the wounded. Rei's squad members immediately agreed and assured her that it would be done. Rei then commanded everyone to move out immediately. Her squad members responded with a firm acknowledgement. Meanwhile, Eod groaned in pain as everyone began rushing away from the collapsing area. Theo carried Cassandra and Eod in his arms while running with the others. As they escaped, Eod slowly opened her eyes and looked around. She realized that the battle was finally over. She then blamed herself, believing that everything was crumbling because of her own greed and stupidity. Everything that her family had protected for generations was now being destroyed. Eod looked at Theo and thought about how becoming someone like him had always been her dream. She had dreamed of inheriting the manual of the forgotten monarch. She had also dreamed of becoming a hero recognized by everyone. But like a fool, she felt that she had ruined everything with her own hands. As these painful thoughts filled her mind, tears slowly fell from Eod's eyes. As Eod continued to blame herself, several spirits suddenly appeared before her. Eod was the only one who could see them. The spirits reassured her that she was wrong, and that they remembered every hardship she had endured. They explained that they had been watching over her the entire time, even from the moment she was first brought into this world. They fondly remembered how adorable the little Ragnar had been, and recalled the moment she took her very first steps. Back then, they had been amazed that she was already walking, and even wondered if the child was a genius. The spirits also remembered the day Eod received her very first sword. But their memories did not end with Eod. They had also watched over her grandfather, and even the generation before him. They revealed that they had always been by the Ragnar family's side. The spirits reminded Eod that everyone makes mistakes in life. However, facing those mistakes and learning from them was something not everyone could do. Taking responsibility for those mistakes was even harder. Yet Eod had faced her sins, repented for them, and burned away her very own life to take responsibility until the very end. Because of that, the spirits declared that Eod had become a swordsman whom the Ragnar family could be proud of. They then told her to rest easy. They called her by her full name, Eod Ragnar, and promised that they would follow right behind her. Hearing their words, Eod finally smiled peacefully and took her last breath. Eod Ragnar had died. Theo also understood what had happened and quietly acknowledged her efforts, saying that she had worked hard. Meanwhile, back at the destroyed battlefield, a mysterious masked man suddenly appeared. Looking at the destruction around him, the masked man thought about Theo and cursed him for causing such a grand scene once again.